Hello YouTube, it's been a while since I've updated the channel, so I thought with a fantastic game like Heat Signature, it'd be a really good one to do hints and tips for. Let's just get started. I'm going to do a couple of different bits, some on base, and we'll do some on mission ships as well. I thought it'd be a good idea to start with character selection and some hints and tips with this, so let's go. When you're deciding characters, obviously you have your preferred items. So Jamarian, for example, was a fantastic one. Started with a wrench and a rechargeable high-capacity stealth shield. Pretty much a game winner by itself. But let's just assume that we've got a terrible one like Gemino Lacayo here, who's got 2 shotguns. That's pretty much a game-losing scenario for most cases. Probably good fun, but going to be triggering alarms left, right, and centre. So what we can do is we can simply retire him, and a new character will come out. And let's just say, yeah, that's pretty awful as well. We can retire again until we get something that is more agreeable. Still don't like that, but demonstrating. Another thing that we go for, particularly early on, is if we look up in the top right-hand corner, we've got the personal mission. A really good personal mission to go for is any that involve needing to raise money to release your wife from slavers or to pay off a debt or something, because the mission payment is something, you know, like 1,000 to 1,500 fuel, and it enables you to invest heavily in overpriced mystery crates. So overpriced mystery crates, one of the things I absolutely love about overpriced mystery crates, it gives you the opportunity to get self-charging items. Self-charging items are absolutely amazing if you get the right ones. A self-charging teleporter, self-charging slipstreams, or self-charging stealth shields are pretty much game-winning items. If you can get a subverter that's self-charging, you can subvert all of the enemy shields, all of the enemy drones and things like that, the sentry turrets, and get a really powerful item. So let's also look at the retirement items. In fact, actually, let's do it with a character that will do it. I'm sure most of you are aware, obviously, you can retire with an item. So you can select one item, and in the future it has the potential to become a lootable item from enemies and from crates. Now, one of the things, I'm on my second playthrough now, and actually the items from my first playthrough are still appearing. So it's actually really quite important that you don't put junk in. I would really only put in, like, sometimes you find a gun that is just mind-blowing. It's got everything. It's armor piercing, it's quiet, it's concussive, it's quick fire or whatever, and actually you really like it, so it's worth popping in. But generally, don't really only put self-charging items in. This is a good item, but it's not irreplaceable. Later on in the game, you can just buy it from the shop. So it's really sad when, you know, you're really deep into the game, but you retired a quiet shotgun or something, and you don't want to pick that up again, especially when it's replacing a special item that would have been really good to pick up. So let's look at some other things. Another thing when I start a new character, the very first thing that I do, so Jazz, for example, I wouldn't start with a short blade, but is I immediately buy a wrench. Dual wielding, 2 melee items, just for the sake of spending one fuel credit. You just tear through enemies, and I'll probably show some clips of melee in that later on. Another thing with character selection, if we look at them, so Gello or Jello Clawless starts with an off-world angel. We'll get into what the off-world angel is and why it's so fantastic, but that might also be something worth picking a character over. Ultimately, it's only 20 credits, but it's definitely worth looking at. You know, 20 credits for an off-world angel, but maybe that might be something that sways you towards picking them. Just a couple of other tips before we get into item selection and unlocking. Attack random ships. Just fly around if you want to raise some money or you want to pick up some special items or something. Just fly around, find some random ships, dock with them, see if they've got anything worth taking. So look for loot boxes, look at the timer, and see if you've got a reasonable amount of time to deal with the ship. That being said, don't do what I did and don't attack ships that are flying near bases. I've lost 3 characters now from jumping on a random ship, getting too cocky, and it immediately docking and losing my character as it's been arrested. Not good fun. I think the last one that we'll look at with this is the game slowing down. You don't notice it. I'm running a pretty high-end computer, and there is no reason why I should struggle with this game. But over time, the game just starts to run slower and slower. It's not to the point that it's unplayable at all, but it's not the experience you're supposed to be having. So just quit the game, go back in, and you will notice a significant difference in the speed that the game is running at. So occasionally just quit out and restart. So let's look at the unlocking priority. Now, as I said, I'm on my second playthrough, and when I launched again, I was expecting to see the bases in the same kind of layout, but it doesn't. I'm assuming it's a random setup every time, so please don't expect yours to look like this. That being said, I believe the items are still unique to certain factions. So Sovereign Stronghold, for example, has 2 items that I try to unlock immediately. And in total, there are 3 items that I focus on. But the Sovereign Stronghold has both the armor-piercing Longblade and the concussion hammer. The armor-piercing Longblade is just superb. It enables you to do missions that are challenging for no reason other than they have armored bosses or armored guards. And actually, once you've got the Longblade, that's not a problem. That being said, there are quite a few missions where they are explosive enemies, so killing them means that you can't means that they explode and you can't use the long blade effectively. The other one, and it is my favourite weapon in the entire game, is the concussion hammer. The thing that makes it special is the fact that it has that 8-meter dash range, but it also has quick recovery. If you have 2 concussion hammers, you can pretty much tear through 10 to 15 enemies one after the other, especially if you've got a slipstream running. You are unstoppable. That being said, do be cautious with concussion hammer because it has one massive side effect that's rather annoying, and that is how much it knocks back the enemies. I've a couple of times flung enemies out of windows that I'm on a mission where I'm not supposed to kill anyone, and that's rather embarrassing. The other one is it tends to chuck them down corridors, and it alerts other enemies. But concussion hammer is just super. The other thing, and it is actually the first thing that I go for just because it is such a quality of life upgrade, and that is the Offworld Angel. I don't bother with any of the other ships. If you'd like me to do, I can do a review of the other ships, but none of them are of a significant enough improvement over the Offworld Angel to be worth having. The Offworld Angel, it enables you to suck in, like if you're ejected out into space or you have to pick something up from space, you just fly near it, hold down E, and it sucks you up. That means that you can just end missions quickly by jumping out of windows, chuck out an enemy you've captured or somebody you've rescued, and you can do it safely and quickly. It's just a quality of life upgrade. The second reason is that there's no more dying from being shot. When you get shot, you get chucked out the airlock. Normally, you can only do that a certain number of times before you are permanently dead. With Offworld Angel, it returns you to full health, and you can just go back in and get on with your business. It is superb. Definitely #1 upgrade for me. So, what we'll do then is we can cut to some mission gameplay and perhaps talk about a few of the tips as we go through. So, see you then. Okay, so in this clip, basically I've realised that the mission is a complete scrub. I'm doing a Warzone mission, and there's no point in me continuing because it's just not going to work. So actually what I decided to do is jump on board the next ship, and as long as you're fast enough, as long as you get to the pilot quick enough, you can actually stop them firing. So I go straight through and do my very best to get to the pilot in time. And actually, good tip, I've just used a slipstream here to slow down time to give me the time necessary to get to the pilot, and you'll see in a second that it stops firing on the ship. I actually managed to recover the mission at that point. As ever, the fantastic Angel ship, saving me having to traipse back to my own ship. Just check everybody off and then press E to collect everybody up. It's brilliant. So tips number 3 and 4, I just wanted to demonstrate the importance of getting to the pilot as quickly as possible. Here, a timed mission, teleport straight to the pilot as quickly as possible, and then you can take the mission at your own pace once the pilot's been taken out. Tip number 4 is sneaky uses of glitch traps to get rid of enemies that you otherwise might not be able to deal with. In this case, it was an armoured foe. Another really short one, instead of just flying back in your own ship, try to clear ships and get back to the base. That way you can sell everything on there automatically for an extra little bit of cash and ammo. Another one of my favourite ones, especially for speed running to try and get to the pilot. If you can't unlock a door, just fire a gun off and attract enemies to open the door and step through as quickly as possible. If you're especially lucky, you might even get the key holder to be the one that opens the door for you. And here we are demonstrating why concussion hammers and slipstreams are my absolute favourite things in the game. In this case, I've realised that all of the enemies on the ship can actually teleport. So, and I also don't really have a way of dealing with shields. So basically, I make myself a little bit of ruckus and attract as many of them as possible to one room. I just slip back into where I was a moment ago. But you can see there must be a good 15 enemies or more, perhaps, just as an estimate. And just equip slipstream and stealth shield, and then go absolutely nuts and just watch it fall. Okay, so I'm just going to let this last clip run whilst I go do a quick summary of all of the basics that we've covered in this bit. This is a bit of a stealth mission, just kind of demonstrates you don't really need to take out all of the enemies. I walk past quite a few a little bit later on and use glitch traps to just mess around and have some fun. But just to summarise, always go for the pilot as soon as you can. In most of the missions, it just means that you can slow down and you can really think about things. So with that in mind, you know, teleporters, particularly swappers and visitors, but it's only really worth it if you've got the extended range ones, but it is definitely worthwhile. I definitely recommend having a pilot removal kit. Basically, have two kits. Have a pilot removal kit that you go in first, you know, teleporters, visitors, and so on, stealth kits. You go in, you take the pilot out, and then if the mission's still too tricky for you to do, you can then go back to the base, do whatever it is, you know, swap out for all of your harder hitting gear, and then go back in. You've seen that dual wielding melee weapons, particularly the hammers, is absolutely sick. I recommend always checking what order the enemies are actually going to be noticing you in. You'll see from the little red box above their heads. Sentry guns can be disarmed with just by pressing the E button. It took me ages to realise that, which is pretty sad. And yeah, I think that's about it. I mean, I'll try and do some more hints and tips videos, but hopefully you found this helpful, and if there's anything you want me to cover, or if there's anything you're struggling with, just give me a message and I can try and record a quick video for you. So thanks for watching, and please give the video a like. Bye bye.